Hey folks, Bill here with Guillory Fine Art. Today I'd like to show you 3 different ways that you can add a vignette to an image using On1 Photo Raw 2023, and I'm sure you can do it in earlier versions as well, and also it could apply to Photoshop. First off, I want to use this image. I'm going to go into the edit module, and these images were taken at the Renaissance Festival. If any of you have not been to a Renaissance Festival, it is I highly recommend it. It's a wonderful place. It's fun. Everybody gets in character, and plenty of photo opportunities. I'm going to reset this image, and that will take me to the default image of what I had when I first began. And first thing I did is I did a C for crop, and I cropped the image pretty much like that, maybe a little tighter. Like that. Hit apply, and I don't like this distraction here, so I'm gonna quickly go in and retouch, select my magic brush, and do that. Take care of that. Okay, first thing I do is I'll come into AI Auto, and in my opinion it brings a little bit too bright, so I'll lower it down some. I'll go into effects, I'll add a filter. Now with the new version you can select people, and it does do a good job selecting the people, but I'm just going to go straight to the dynamic contrast, and it's going to apply that to the complete image. I'm going to click on this masking option, invert, which took it off, and now I have the paint in. I want to change this to paint in. I have my opacity at 35%, and I can now brush in the dynamic contrast just on the area that I want to show up, which is, in my opinion, his beard and his hair and some of the hat, like that. And as you can see over here on the masking, white will reveal and black will hide. So now that I have that done, I am going to go to, now there's 3 different ways to add a vignette. You can add a filter and come down to the vignette, and you'll have selections of subtle, strong, big and softy, edges, and more. There's different, and as you hover over them you'll see the different vignettes. I typically go, well, not typically, but a good bit of the time I'll go to the big softy, drop the feather down. You can see what's happening, and you can change the size, you can change the roundness, and you can also place the vignette where you want. And then once it's placed, you bump the feathering up, and you drop down the opacity, and you have a vignette. But in this particular case, I'm going to go to local, and what I like to do on this image, because there's a long section that I think I want to highlight. There's two different ways. You can come over and you can select the darken, and I'm still set at painting in, and I'm set at opacity 35, and you can just brush in the background, darken the background, and brush in the areas that you want darkened. That is one way, and I have done that on several of my images. But I'm going to X this out, and I'm going to add another adjustment, and this time I'm going to come over and select this icon here, which is the adjustable gradients. And once you select it, you have selections. You have linear top, vignette, strong vignette, linear top, linear bottom, linear left, and linear right. I typically go to the vignette, and I'll drop it in the center of what I want, and you'll have this oblong shape that you can adjust the shape by simply pulling in the pinch points. I'll call them pinch points for no other reason. Now I'm going to move this over here so you can see the center of the oblong is a large circle and a small circle. The large circle, if you click on it, you can move it wherever you want. The small circle, if you click on it and holding it down, you can rotate, and then you can click on the center, the large one, and place exactly where you want. You can adjust it. The dotted line going around is indicating the feathering, so you can adjust the feathering if you want it brighter or no feathering at all. I think something like that works good, and in my case I'm going to drop down the opacity. Now once that is done, you can adjust contrast and everything else on the vignette, but really all you want is the exposure. You can, if there's a lot of highlights, drop down the highlights and the whites. And so that is the third way that you can add a vignette to an image. I hope this was helpful, and if you liked it, please hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified when I add additional videos. Thank you, and have a good day.